All right, I think we're live now.
We might be live.
We might be.
Maybe we're not.
You'll have to check the stream on your phone. So
All right,
welcome
let me check.
to a new year.
Happy New Year.
And with a new year, we have an actual title.
We decided on one. Huh. Why is it not getting displayed in YouTube? Did you? Oh, because it's set backwards. Yeah, but it works. I can hear us.
Good. Okay, wonderful. All right. So
That's the safety check.
New year, we have a title for our show. So this is episode 1 of...
You have to read it.
Oh, I have to read
I can say it, but you have to read it, but I can say it from memory because it's a very long title. It's supposed to be long, like all of our favorite light novels.
Favorites. Ore-tachi no mangan wa korekara da. Which I can't say right. Mangen.
Ore-tachi no mangen wa korekara da.
That's what it should sound like. I'll just call it KoreKara for short.
Yeah, for short.
This is episode 1.
There's probably other ways
of the podcast, and I will be Percival Fine for you. And this is...
And I'm Maxi Burger.
Wonderful.
Also, I still can't decide if I'm supposed to say it in Japanese or not.
Go for it.
Yeah, the Japanese name is supposed to be Hanbamaki, but it's both works. Either hamba or burger.
And just put a
because those are
in there somewhere.
Interchangeable. So today we're going to talk about the actual first Jump issue of the year.
Yeah, first of the year, even though it's issue 5?
5 and 6.
Combo.
Which means next week is another Jumpless week.
Oh no, I don't like that.
Yeah, nobody likes that except maybe the artists.
It's their vacation. They can go relax on the beautiful winter beaches of Japan.
I think Okinawa still has very nice temperatures. But also I heard from a friend who's currently there that the weather is relatively fine for December. Well, and now January.
Yeah.
The first thing he saw when he looked out of the window was Mount Fuji, which is very good luck.
Nice. Yeah, I remember going there and seeing that out of a train.
Yeah. Now imagine how it would be to see that right from your window.
Yeah.
Very blessed.
Really nice. Very blessed. So this cover, can you tell me what are they supposed to be that's being cooked? Because I saw this.
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it?
I do not like this growing. It grosses me out.
Those are mochis, I think.
Oh, really?
And
mochi?
yeah, when you put this type of mochi on the grill, then it kind of melts upwards. And apparently people are very fond of it being like this gross bubble thing that grows out of it.
I'll have to look that up to see what it really looks like. I wonder if you actually can do something to it so that designs come out of the bubbles, or if this is just artistic.
That would probably, I think that would be really difficult, but I also think that people have managed to do it.
Well, I mean, you see the stuff that people do with like coffee art.
Exactly. Who could have thought that you can paint on coffee?
I know.
Japan thought.
Anyway, the first chapter we have here is One Piece.
One Piece. With a big color spread that depicts something that is almost real.
Oh, really?
Because If you were to if you were to find something like this in real life, you'd have to go to Switzerland, because I know of at least one.
Oh, you're glitching out a bit, by the way.
Oh, damn it! How am I glitching?
Your voice is going a bit weird. Oh, and your face is not there anymore.
Is that made me? Oh no! I don't want to change anything about OBS. If I do, then it's going to be weird. I'm afraid of doing it. Should I? Maybe you have to put me on pause so I don't open a dangerous window.
Okay, let me hide you for now, and we'll just
for a second.
Yeah.
Just for a second. So what I was going to say is that this is what you would be able to see in Switzerland, because I know of at least one village that got flooded, and it could freeze over. I think one church tower is still sticking out of it, out of the water. So it's pretty what's the word? Like, you can take a good photo of it and be like, "Oh, this is awesome." Picturesque.
It sounds like the sort of location that would be like really cool to discover in a video game.
I know, right?
And then you go into the bell tower of the church, and you find the staircase and go down to the areas that are not flooded.
Ooh, yeah, that's cool.
You can't open any doors because there's just ice beyond. Maybe you can get into the catacombs, and there's still areas that aren't flooded.
Every building that sticks out has at least one item inside.
Yeah, there's gotta be something special in there. If you open the wrong door, there's a secret mini boss, though. He'll kick your ass.
Can you check if it's working again?
Oh.
Yeah.
As soon as I put you back on the stream, it went back again. There you are.
God damn it!
So we get the close up of King taking.
Oh yeah, because that was just me reminding myself that King definitely got defeated right now.
Yeah, getting to see the close up of his wing broken and his sword broken at the same time.
A lot of stuff is happening in this chapter. We get it's one of those.
That first page is like one of those where it's not just a, oh yeah, remember this is what happened last week, but also it kind of juxtaposes flashbacks for King and Zoro, where they're both like, you know, they got
they're both the same.
Yeah, they've got like very similar relationships to their captains. But
and when you look at the picture, yeah, the first panel of Kaido that I was highlighting, look at his stupid hairstyle.
I know.
He looks so uncool and shitty. Especially with the
guys who needs his facial hair to look cool.
Yeah, because eventually he grows like a very big beard, but back then he was still in the beginning phase of that.
Aren't there some flashbacks with young Whitebeard before he was Whitebeard?
Yes.
And he doesn't have the huge mustache and he looks really weird.
I don't remember what he looked like, but it was weird. Seeing everybody from that age.
Yeah, there's
either way.
Going on.
I didn't like it. Didn't want to see it. Oda, please make it cooler. How am I supposed to slash both of these?
Wait for Boichi to redraw it, and he's gonna look super scary.
Yeah, most people don't know this because how would they? Boichi, the artist of Dr. Stone, has done at least 2, I think 3 by now, chapter redraws of famous, or at least his favorite One Piece chapters. And in one of them he drew Blackbeard, in a slightly more realistic style than
And it's
usual.
so scary.
And it's actually like really scary.
I think I've mentioned it before. Well, maybe not on stream, but Boichi's like, he's really good at drawing detailed guys' faces. Not so much with the female characters. Most of them are just kind of moe blob type faces.
Yeah, with emphasis on blob.
Yeah, very very blob like. I remember when Stanley was first introduced, I was like, "Oh wow, he's finally drawn like a really good-looking woman."
Gotcha.
Tricked. Yeah, he got me.
Might as well be bamboozled.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think that's the problem. Like, if you gave women too many features, too many details, they would probably look like Blackbeard, and we wouldn't want that. I can kind of like. I love
get
Nick.
some scary women into that series.
I forgot the name of the muscle woman from Stanley's side. We didn't even get to see her later on, did we?
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't think so.
A lot of those characters got sidelined.
Yeah, I think.
But either way,
yeah, they all got petrified. Then we don't see them again.
But Nikki is still around, and I love Nikki.
She's on the hero team now.
Yeah. Anyways, that was we're not talking about Dr. Stone yet. Just yet. One Piece. Let's move quickly through One Piece. So a bunch of stuff is happening.
Yeah, we get to see the
Zoro defeats King.
Being badass.
The Cypher Pole guys notice that the tides are turning. And it was kind of funny that one of them, there originally were three. Mm-hmm. Two of them gave chase to Robin and Brooke. And this third guy was just hanging out and continuing playing Go
with nobody.
And he's so surprised by the monitor girl giving him the info. Really?
Yeah.
I like that.
Like, let me get back to my game.
Yeah. Then also Usopp is protecting Kinemon and Okiku. And then her brother shows, well, I don't know, what are the official pronouns? She or he?
He's just a...
He's just cross-dressing, I think. Yeah. But either way, brother shows up and protects them. And Usopp had a pretty good line about what's the point of being dead?
Yeah.
Surviving is better.
Criticizing the samurai being... What did he say? You shouldn't be satisfied with just a good fight if you die at the end. Something like that. Yeah.
It's interesting that Oda would make this like a big point, because this is traditional Japanese culture, and just sometimes you might expect that actually this is cool and we should get back to it, and Oda's like, no, this is bad.
I feel like there's a lot of manga that have that element to it. I don't know. I think we talked about it last time that I wanted to read the previous manga by the Ayashimon author.
Oh yeah.
So I've been reading that Jigoku Raku, Hell's Paradise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And one of the main characters is a samurai. The other one is a ninja. And both of them are from clans that are like very much in that old style of like, you know, honor and do your mission and die trying. And there's other characters who are like, you know, really trying to change them from that mindset. So I feel like it kind of shows that in Japan, then that's, you know, it's I guess within their culture, it's a lot of tension between the respect for traditions versus some of our old traditions are kind of stupid.
Yeah. Sometimes you get the feeling that the people who would cherish the old ways and go like, "Oh, Bushido was so good, and we should really honor, do the honor thing." And I think that a lot of times you only get Westerners to say that's a good thing.
Yeah, because I think the last big name guy to do that, he committed suicide, right? And that was the end of that.
Oh.
Anyway, I also just I love that this guy remembers that Usopp's nickname is God Usopp.
Yeah, that's mainly why I was highlighting it.
I always love
That's
comebacks like that.
Yeah, that's a really nice touch.
And I'm like, it just reminded me, like, oh, I want to see Usopp meet up with Buggy again.
Huh? Why?
What?
I think they don't even know each other. They've never met.
Like, just both of them have the thing of like having a overbuilt reputation, but Usopp actually kind of deserves it.
Buggy could be so good, actually.
Yeah.
And now, like in the meantime, we've met. Well, in online, not in One Piece, but we've seen some good clowns recently.
Very good clowns.
We've seen some good clowns, and
they're out there in the society.
I'm not too opposed to clowns anymore. Like when I read One Piece for the first time in like 1990 something, I was like, oh god damn it, Buggy the clown. Clowns are so lame, and clowns are lame. Like, don't get me wrong, but there are some clowns that are
around all the way to the other end.
Yeah. Yes.
Speaking of performers, we get a little bit of
Orochi and Komurasaki. Yeah, that's her real name.
Komurasaki disguise. And Orochi is just completely mesmerized.
I find it interesting that he at least has, like, in the back of his mind the thought of, damn it, I should be doing something else, but
yeah.
he like, maybe he's not completely taking the bait, but also I think he really has this emotional weakness that she can exploit.
And
I found that interesting.
I'm waiting for this bit to be animated, to be like, oh, how good is her song going to be? Because this song, whatever song she plays, is going to be the background music to the intro of Luffy and Kaido going.
Oh yeah, that's maybe you've noticed this, but a lot of the times in One Piece, well, almost all of the times, Oda is using the dong or da dong sound effect in the background.
Classic thing to go with this kind of old-timey Japanese music.
Yeah, it's his trademark. But as soon as the Wano arc started, it changed in almost all cases from dong to beping, which is supposed to be the koto lute sound.
That's a cool distinction.
Yeah. It rarely you rarely notice it in the translation, but this has been the case for like a few years already.
Wow. And now I know.
Yes. Now everybody knows.
Yeah.
Now all of China knows.
With that fire of the koto sound.
And finally, I was just going to say Luffy and Kaido are maybe finally going to the final phase of the fight.
Oh, yeah.
Which at this point...
regarding their fight that I was thinking about. Like, earlier in the chapter, they do talk about the stakes of how... what's his name? The little dragon?
Stakes.
Has to... he has to learn to use the clouds, the dragon clouds, really quickly.
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't learn to before Luffy defeats Kaido, then the flying island is going to fall onto the capital city and kill thousands of people.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it's kind of rare for one of the problems being, what if our guy is too good and beats the bad guy really quickly? Like,
That's true.
That's ever been a problem in anything I've read.
That's a very specific problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Actually, does that ever happen anywhere else? Like,
No,
not even in One Punch Man, this would be the case.
Yeah. Usually the problem is, oh, we can't beat the bad guy quick enough.
Yeah. But this time,
Yeah,
it has to be perfectly timed.
exactly.
Very funny.
What would you give this chapter? I liked it.
I also liked it. I think I liked it the most out of all of the chapters in this issue.
Really?
So I gave it 78 points,
Really?
which is still below last chapter, which was Zoro versus King, but it's still pretty high up.
Yeah. Well, because like this was one of those chapters that was like mainly set up. There's
Yeah.
not
But also,
a lot of actual action going on, but like, I mean, as I said,
what is everybody doing?
Part of the setup.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, because I can hear
A lot
the
of
way they're
times.
animated.
Yeah, but a lot of times you see a bunch of these, like one page, everybody gets one page of
Yeah.
what are they doing right now? And a lot of those cases in previous chapters, it was those were nothing pages where nothing was going on.
Right.
But right
Just
now,
showing,
everybody gets a little bit of progress.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So that was a good version of this kind of chapter,
Yeah.
and that's why I've rated it highly.
Yeah. I would
Did you
give it
have-
a 75? Not quite as high as you, but I like it.
Ah, interesting.
Looks like you have Sakamoto days, which I'm still not reading.
Yeah. Sakamoto Days is it's an interesting chapter in that it points out the biggest weakness of the whole series.
Oh, really?
And I highlighted something in the pages. Maybe you can spot it.
Mm-hmm.
I made some very subtle red circles around something.
Yeah, very subtle.
Sakamoto is currently facing the big bad guy,
Mm-hmm.
the one who's trying to destroy the JAA, the Assassins Association, and Sakamoto is using a pen to attack him, as if it was a knife or something, or a shiv.
Yeah.
Which is
also seen in
for me.
The Jason Bourne movies.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah, it's
The first time I even considered a pen to be a weapon was in. Have you read Monster by Naoki Urasawa?
Really good one.
There's a scene where Dr. Tenma is pressing a ballpoint pen against somebody's neck and says, "If I push this button, this guy's what's it called? The vein, the big vein.
Oh, the carotid in your neck.
Whichever it is, it's getting pierced and he's dying instantly." Which was like, oh, that's pretty cool, because he, as a doctor, would know which point to pierce to get like instant death. But I guess, yeah, obviously in other things, a pen could have been used as a weapon. And I was going to point it out that Sakamoto is doing this here because one thing that I've been complaining about this whole time is that I like it when Sakamoto is doing like superhuman stuff with mundane objects.
Yeah.
Like when he has stuff hidden inside his convenience store that he could use to defend himself, even though it would look like he's just a normal dude. And in this confrontation, he's facing off against somebody who is so extremely evil that this just won't fly. So this guy is immediately disassembling the pen.
Mm-hmm.
And then he berates Sakamoto for not having enough bloodlust in him. So he says, you really should try to kill me, because if you don't do that, I will kill so many more people. And
It's like General Za.
yeah, and that's the most important question about the whole series when it's trying to get serious.
Right.
Because you can have a lot of goofy adventures, like haha, this assassin is trying to kill Sakamoto and he's dodging him in funny ways because he's still in his convenience store mode.
Mm-hmm.
But then when somebody on the same superhuman level as him shows up and is like completely evil, you can't uphold the rule that he's not allowed to kill anybody.
Right.
Because this guy is like, you have to eliminate him. And this guy points it out, and I have a slight feeling that this is probably a hint.
Push Sakamoto back to that.
No, worse, that the series is going to end, because usually you'd stall for some dilemma like this to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And when a series is getting cancelled, then sometimes the author is forced to go all out and put something in that he would have waited on for a few years. Especially with this guy being like the big evil villain of the whole series right now. It doesn't mean there couldn't be another one, but right now this guy seems to be like the biggest threat in existence. And just when Sakamoto is about to get serious,
ending or not?
Well, it's still undecided, because just when Sakamoto is going to get serious, when the guy says, "Well, you do have a daughter," implying he's going to absolutely murder her. Yeah. The other guy he was with crashes through the wall and says, like, "Nope, this is too bad. We have to bail."
Oh.
So
the guys are gonna run away?
Yeah, the bad guys are going to run away, because the katana guy from the other group, the good guys, I had to look it up again because I keep forgetting about the names of these guys. So the good guys group is just called the Order, and this old guy is Takamura, and he's opening the door in the stupidest way possible. I guess it works, but
yeah.
It's also kind of threatening. And it's also interesting that in these kind of scenes when he's...
Didn't he use that sword to like cut through every single object in a room, including like a pillar?
Yes. He cut away.
So gentle here. He used the cut through just so he can knock the
open
it normally. Should he just like slash a big hole in it?
Yeah, he could have done that, but he decided to.
He's old. He needs to rest.
You'd think that. Anyways, I'm kind of like disappointed that we don't get a good action scene, and I'm slightly worried or slightly anticipating that the series might end in a very unsatisfying way. And also, I think the fact that the series knows what the big weakness is, I think that's actually not a good thing. Because if you point it out, then even the people who weren't thinking about it before are now like completely hyper focused on this specific topic.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I'm giving it 56 points this week.
Oh, not terrible.
Well, not
Still interesting.
terrible, but I think everything below 70 is probably not very good.
Oh, okay.
And if you're under 50, you're explicitly bad.
Ooh.
So 56, just above 50 is...
Barely
Ooh,
squeaking by.
yeah. Sakamoto is in danger, in my opinion.
Then speaking of things that seem to be going towards the end, we got Hero Academia.
Huh? You mean...
Remember?
I thought you were going to say things that are slightly dangerous, like
Yeah.
looking at Hatsume on the cover, like...
Well, they didn't fill in all the detail on her armpit, so it's not super detailed.
Yeah! Yes! What a crime! I guess
Yeah,
I'm
because,
like... It's possible
with
for like...
Blue Box, you're always like, oh, they could have turned up the pose to be a little bit more sexy, and I guess Horikoshi was like, I will do that.
I suppose it's still realistic to not have the armpit very defined, but also like, I wish it was, but
Can't.
But maybe like at least the collarbone is like nicely drawn. Like the whole anatomy is like meticulous, and
Yeah,
she's
you can
also
tell
like
this guy spent a lot of time in figure drawing class. He paid attention.
Also, look at the cross hatching on her skirt. Like that's completely unnecessary to do that technique.
Good job, Horikoshi's assistants. Very nice.
You think it's just the assistants? Oh no.
Oh yeah, I mean, I doubt that the main author is going to spend all that time when he has the whole chapter to do.
I guess that's true. Okay. Moving on to what's inside the chapter.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say nothing's in the chapter.
Yeah,
Nothing happens.
Nothing happens. Oh, one thing that you did miss that I would have pointed out is you see, unlike on the chapter where she's got a skirt, then in here you see she's wearing like an engineering jumpsuit, but tied around her waist, like it's just pants. And I noticed that in the first page, she's pulling it off as if she had it off, like while she's getting off of Deku, and he's like really unhappy.
I missed that.
He's been violated, our poor boy.
Yes, poor boy. I'm feeling for him. It should have been me.
Yeah, I was surprised also when he's like, oh, does she not know what's going on in the world?
Yeah.
Because, I don't believe that those kids don't know what's going on in the world.
It would have been funny, and I think it would have been extra funny if they doubled down and stuck with this bit, like that she really doesn't know what's going on. It would have been like, I think I would have liked that more. Horikoshi is pulling it around by saying like, oh, of course she knows, she's just hyper focused, and when people talk like about normal things, she's a little bit out of the loop, but she knows what's going on. But actually, it would have been kind of funny, like if she actually didn't know what was going on and was just so working on something that's still helpful, but she doesn't know.
Yeah. Oh, another thing
I think I would have liked that.
So like, I did think it was funny when she's like, I can't make a replacement of this, when she's looking at their gear. But then she does it. She just makes a replacement.
Yeah.
For it. And I was kind of hoping that it would lead into something where it's like, she can't make an exact replacement, but she does something that's like weird and gives them an extra bonus, but they don't talk about if her gear does anything different than what Itare did at all.
Who knows? Maybe it'll happen in a situation when things get serious and they're like, Hatsume's equipment is really holding up, and then they notice, oh wow, it's even able to do something even better. Yeah,
how it works. Yeah, but whatever. It feels like
Otherwise,
she's like the shop before you go to the final level.
yeah. But overall, also like I think this whole exchange was somewhat unsatisfying.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was kind of unnecessary to waste this much panel space on her rejecting him, and then the other guys coming in and being like, "Oh, we." Anyways,
It's just the fact that she rejects it and then doesn't matter. Does it anyway.
Yeah.
Like
that was
I dropped it.
an unnecessary. What's it called? A bait and switch.
Yeah, that could be it.
And also the other guys then in Kansai who are still rescuing people and stuff. That was also pretty unnecessary.
Yeah, that was
just to.
Don't even remember these people.
Yeah, it was really just an excuse to show these guys still exist.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel like that's necessary in a story that gets as big as this one does. But yeah, very much. I mean, it's like we were talking about before with previous chapters of One Piece, where they just kind of show the characters to remind you that they're still in the castle, but they don't do anything.
I guess, but that's what we criticize about One Piece. Like when we just get to see them, but they don't do anything.
This is that. This is the version of.
This is exactly that.
Yeah, it's not the good version of this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the final thing was All Might doing like, oh, and then
the other battle. What's that?
The other battle. Oh, that was such a nothing announcement that I'm like super disappointed with this chapter.
I know.
Coming off from much stronger chapters before.
We got so excited at the front page, and then we're like, oh, there's nothing after it. They spent all their time.
That's true.
They spent all their time cross-hatching and no time writing.
It would be so funny if he just started drawing that one thing, and then his editor was like, "Well, yeah."
He was like, "I gotta do this myself. It takes him 6 days to cross-hatch the skirt." He's like, "Oh my god,
to be perfect." That would be funny, but we know it's not true. Anyways, I was giving this chapter 40 points because it was such a nothing chapter.
I gave it 60 because it had a very good opening and then just went to nothing.
Yeah. Yes. Next we have Witch Watch.
Ooh. And you highlighted exactly the panel that I also would have highlighted.
First
we gotta say they resolved the warlock thing really quickly. When last week they're like, "Oh, what do we do with this guy?" Like, "Oh yeah, they resolved it."
But he still gets to hang.
We get back to the important stuff, like Moi getting to hold a pretty girl in one hand and a twink in the other hand.
Yeah, I titled the file name I gave this was The Perfect Armful.
Is that your dream?
Like, look at it. This is perfect. This is the ideal relationship.
Which part of it would you be? The armful?
No. Wait, what's the armful?
Oh, the guy in the arm.
Yeah. Obviously. I know that in the previous chapter I said Miharu wouldn't be able to like keep up his thing if he were to become a main character, a regular, and now it happened. Yeah. And
now we'll find
out. I don't know, is that egg on my face?
Yes, it is.
Damn it. But I guess I'll say I'm happy for it. Because if there's one thing that this series needed, it was another blonde twink living with them who's also kind of lewd and
Yeah, because
and
so far all the guys are like kind of they're more of tough guys in terms of appearance.
yeah, it's been a while in other series that we got something like this. So that's some good
Savory.
diversity.
Yeah,
Well, also
diversity of
that, yeah.
strength.
um, I don't know which panel you're on right now,
Oh
so I have to
yeah,
guess.
taking teeny sips from his friends.
Teeny
When I
sips,
saw that, I was
kind
like,
of.
oh my god, imagine this guy in Roboco.
Oh yes,
Maybe they'll introduce a vampire character later. They've already got a psychic.
always possible. But
Oh,
yeah,
I
always
was
got
wondering,
already
like, did they make a mistake? Because when I was reading, it seemed to show the panel of the dad looking older twice.
twice. Yeah, I
Was
was
that a
wondering
mistake?
about that too. Maybe it's just, I think that one was written from a standpoint of an anime where they repeat the same line in a very quick succession, so
Could be.
that they point it out once and then they almost like drift to another topic, but then they
They
go
get back
straight
to it.
back
It's like,
to
no, no,
like,
no, we're not. Stop. We're not done talking about that yet.
it sometimes happens. But I did like the joke that the dad used to look um fairly young
Yeah.
just a few years back, and now he's grandpa age, just because Miharu is sucking all of the vitality out of him. And then in the next panel, the mom shows up, and
Right.
everybody points out, "I bet you didn't take a single drop out of it,"
I wonder if she's got the
because
power
that's
too.
exactly what I thought.
Yeah, of course. I always like when characters say the same things you're thinking.
That's always the best thing.
And
Witch Watch is really good at that.
I know, it's like they're reading our minds when they're writing it.
It's almost as if the whole series is engineered to say exactly what the reader would say.
Yeah. Well, you gotta have a protagonist who people can relate to.
But then the next panel that I was going to say, where they invite Miharu
I
to
saw
live
that.
with
I was
them,
like, oh
because
my
that's
god,
obviously
Moy standing like
this.
that and offering himself
Yeah,
and his friends for this guy to suck on.
and like you're saying that, but it's phrased like in such a like such an ambiguous way,
They know what they're doing.
where yeah, they know exactly what they're doing. This is like, and all three of them are like handsome and telling the twink to, yeah, and he's calling themselves three young bucks bursting with vitality.
Yeah, the phrasing.
Like, I didn't have access to the Japanese this time, but I wonder how swollen the dialogue is in this bubble, because this is almost too much. You can't say that. You're not allowed to say that.
I think we said before with the chapter with the cat girl trying to get the wolf to watch a movie with her, that was like,
Yes,
the author writing scripts for doujinshi artists to just use.
yes.
I'm like, yep, it's happening in this too. I will be surprised
And
if not a lot of material is based on this at the next Comic Cat.
Sadly, we don't get that much jump content at Comic Cat.
Oh,
Like in relative numbers, I made a graph myself. In relative numbers, Jump is like very like mid-tier at best.
that's a surprise.
You'd think it would be top tier, but everything is overshadowed by Fate, and then some other,
of course,
MOBA gays,
yeah.
which is really sad. Back in 10 years ago, Gintama and Death Note were really big.
Oh yeah, I can see those being big.
Huge. But nowadays, I think the biggest thing in that sector would be Yuri on Ice.
Oh, still,
I'm talking about the Fujoshi sector, by the way,
yeah.
because that's the thing. When you talk about comic numbers, like doujinshis published by fans, Jump series mostly get Fujoshi publications. Like that's almost a rule. You do get a few books for men specifically, but those are not very numerous. Even though the quality tends to be better, I'd say. Like when somebody is like hyper focused on wanting to do something to Nami, then that's
great detail.
They'll yes. So yeah, Miharu gets to hang out with the crew.
Yeah,
from now on. So I guess the next chapter is going to be all of the shenanigans that are going to happen. Just he's going to make a lot of comments about how indecent it would be for all of them to live together.
Probably.
And a lot of things might happen in between that would lead him to make even more false assumptions.
Yeah.
So
forward to the change dynamic in their house.
Yeah, we can really look forward to next chapter.
Definitely.
Next chapter is going to be interesting. Which unfortunately, this one was like in my rating only a 68.
Oh, really? I gave it a 75 because I was like, no bikinis anymore. Nothing really happens except that they do get a new roommate, and there's so much innuendo. That's like my levels are very high.
I did enjoy it, but I was a little bored by the explanations in the beginning and the water warlock getting disposed of.
Yeah, that was quick.
Those things
it needs to happen.
Took a little bit too much time for me. But yeah, it did have to happen. Next up was Jujutsu Kaisen, which we are not exactly caught up with, but I read it anyway.
Yeah.
And honestly, this was a fairly good chapter, I'd say. Like relatively, let's say relatively good. The guy with the ridiculous outfit reveals that his curse technique is materializing contracts or receipts that he has, and that's the explanation for why his outfit is like a bunch of those post-its. Because all of those are contracts. He demonstrates this at first by activating a receipt for a hotel visit in with a spa, so it basically heals him.
Oh.
But then he also materializes knives and
trucks.
And trucks. And
what did he have a receipt for to get the truck?
Well, I guess he bought them.
Oh, wow.
And then if you go one page further, Fushiguro escapes them in like a very ridiculous way.
Under them.
Under them, yeah, not between them. It was kind of like exciting how at first the receipt guy explains, well, we both don't have big attacks, so we just have to plink away at each other.
Well, that's a big attack.
And Fushiguro, yeah, I would say 2 trucks are pretty big. But Fushiguro escapes into a gym hall and then activates his domain expansion, which is on such a high level that the receipt guy is like, oh shit, I'm totally
That's
Yeah.
a big move.
Made a big oopsie.
And we get to see it from the back, saying that this is a really stupid looking outfit. The thing is,
It's so stupid.
Wouldn't you want to like keep them in pockets so you don't lose them? Because if they're all on the outside, they could just get blown away, right?
Yeah, but he needs easy access. That's the most important thing.
Would look cooler if he just had a bunch of pockets with receipts.
I mean, obviously, we're unfortunately not
90s goth outfits where it's the cargo pants and the cargo shirt, cargo everything. They're all like filled with receipts. Give them a puffer jacket. And at the end, then Fushiguro knows he can beat him because his jacket looks slim. He's like, your receipts that you stuffed into your jacket are all used up. You're done for now.
I mean, it would fit with the unstylish and unstylish clothes, but also like this is already setting the bar so low that it's kind of emblematic for Jujutsu Kaisen with all of its dumb designs. I gave it 65 points. Slightly exciting, not too dumb, but also still kind of dumb.
Still kind of dumb. Next you got
again, another series that you're not reading, so I have to explain what's happening. So
never exciting enough cover pages.
Yes, exactly. Like the colors are nice, but also I guess I would feel inclined to buy a postcard of this picture.
Yeah. It looks good.
But just because the colors are nice, not because the motif itself is particularly good. If this was black and white, it wouldn't be good.
Right. It would lack the impact.
Yeah. The hair ornament and the kimono design, those wouldn't look good in black and white. This is entirely also the background, the white and red black background is doing a lot of good for this picture. So anyways, last time Taiki and the aerobics girl were on a fake date, but she's not telling him that she thought it was a date. So he's still kind of she's still in the friend zone, but he's slightly wisening up to the fact that I'm alone with a girl and she's pretty. I have to blush every now and then. But then he bails on her for a second and meets Chinatsu senpai, who has returned from her training, and Chinatsu is with a lost girl. Mm-hmm. So he really pushes himself onto the situation. She's like, I'm going to bring her to the information desk, and he's like, well, I will accompany you. And she's like, no, that's fine. I can do it myself. It's just over there. And he's like, no, I insist. I must come with you. And
trying too hard to be the gentleman.
Yes. He's trying so hard, and it's creating this stupid situation where they have to hold hands with the small child.
It's like they're indirectly holding each other's hands.
Oh, I wasn't even going that far. I thought this is like a preview of if we were husband and wife and had a small child.
Yeah.
Then it would be just like this.
Oh.
And meanwhile, the girl he left behind, she made a kind of funny face in this one's tiny panel, but another bad thing is happening. She's sitting alone right now, so a bunch of other classmates show up and go like, oh, why are you here alone? Why are you sitting here? Could we sit down with you? And she's too much in the friend zone to say, well, actually, this is a date and I don't want anybody else to be here.
Oh.
So now she's getting into the really awkward situation that a bunch of other friends are going to hang out with them, and then Taiki is going to come back with Chinatsu senpai, and this is going to be like really bad for her.
Oh no.
Then back to Taiki and Chinatsu. They bump into her, a friend from elementary, who is also happens to be the girlfriend of his senpai in the badminton team, who's basically his mentor right now.
I forgot this was a sports manga.
Yeah. It kind of isn't. They use the sports as an excuse. And she's like, oh, so you're that Taiki Inomata that I hear so much about. And he's like, oh, what did Haruyu senpai tell you about me? And then she gives him the look like, huh? And looks at Shinatsu. And when I first read it, I was like, that's odd. That's odd to like not just immediately go, yeah, I hear you're the rookie who's fighting his way upwards, and my boyfriend is like really fond of you, but he's not telling anybody but me. And obviously there was a reason for it, and it gets thankfully explained at the end of the chapter. The big revelation, the big revelation is that she and Chinatsu were talking with each other at some undefined point, and Chinatsu was telling her that she's living together with somebody right now because her family is in America. And this elementary school friend from back then is like, oh, but wouldn't you develop feelings for that person? And then she's like, basically, yes. She's talking around. She's talking. She's confirming it, and that was kind of like almost interesting. But
it's drama.
I still don't like how drama. Teenage drama, and I don't like how it was everything else was handled, because I cut away everything that was shit. This small exchange was the only good thing about the chapter, and that's why I gave it 57 points.
All right, and we're live again. And before before we went off, you were telling me about Blue Box.
Was I?
Yeah.
I completely forgot.
Did you give it a rating already? I don't remember.
Yeah, I gave it 57, which was 1 point above Sakamoto Days.
Oh, okay.
And I was itching to move on to Ayashimon, because Ayashimon is my current top most anticipated manga in Shonen Jump.
Yes, it's a good one. All right, so Ayashimon.
You've read. I've read also a few chapters, but you've read way further ahead in the author's previous work, Jigoku Raku.
Yeah, I'm almost done with it actually. Got pretty far.
Gotta catch up.
Yeah.
Since next week is another double issue.
Just a warning. I saw people talking about it online, saying like, "Oh, this is like another Attack on Titan." And I mean, it's very different from Attack on Titan, but what it does share is that there are some wipeouts in that manga, like people getting wiped out.
There are some wipeouts in Attack on Titan as well.
Yeah, well, that's the point of similarity. I mean, otherwise, it's like, very different kind of story.
But you could say it's kind of the same time period as Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan is based on 19th century Germany.
Similar tech level, but I mean, Attack on Titan is in its own universe.
But Jigokuraku is also set in like something close to 19th century.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be like in our world. It's not like Attack on Titan where there's all the made up country names in Jigoku Raku. There's everyone.
There's one made up island.
Yeah, there is a made up island, but they draw a lot of things from real history, which is kind of fun.
The whole concept, I can't speak. The whole concept of one mystery paradise island that's just hidden somewhere, that's like so appealing to me.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of shared in Attack on Titan too. Although it's
technically, but also you're not supposed to know that it's an island.
Well,
until like
that in the anime, so it's okay.
Yeah, most people should know. If you don't know, that's on you.
What else has mystery islands that no one knows about?
One Piece.
Wow. I mean,
yeah,
not really the same when like everything is islands, right?
And yeah, but there's known islands and there's secret islands. Like, remember Little Garden, which everybody just sails around because they hate going on the dinosaur island.
Yeah.
Or actually, do people actually know about Little Garden? Because when they enter Little Garden, it is treated as if it's like something that you only read in fantasy novels because it shouldn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
They specifically quote like a fake historian who says this shouldn't exist.
In world One Piece historian.
Yeah, in world, because what's so weird about it is the log pod is going from island to island. So if you pick this route to Alabasta, you're technically bound to get to Little Garden.
Right, but people don't.
So more people should know about it. Mm-hmm. But then again, maybe it's actually bullshit that Luffy and his crew are going by the lockport because most people rely on those permanent compasses.
Right.
Like going by the lockport that locks onto the next island and the next island and the next island. I think that's kind of like antiquated and only adventurers would do for fun.
Mm-hmm.
When you go into the further areas of the series and then look back, you're like, why did they ever decide to use that?
I'm looking up the tvtropes.org page for Island of Mystery. And yeah, it does say One Piece on there, but it says Little Garden, and it also includes Thriller Bark and Skypiea Mystery Island.
Skypiea
is the most mystery island of it because they have so many people outright saying that it doesn't exist, and then they go there.
Yeah, a lot of people hate Skypiea, but I liked Skypiea. Just because it's such an adventure.
Yeah, I liked it. It's fun.
And also, it had one of the worst villains in the whole series.
Yeah.
And even Oda calls back to him with the anal face.
Yeah.
so it's definitely the thing that you really need to read.
All the way to the bottom, and it says, "Real life, Australia."
Yeah.
It really is.
That's 100%
got all the
true.
weird animals and stuff.
All of the dangerous animals.
Have you heard the story? It might be apocryphal, but the story of why kangaroos are called kangaroos?
No. Tell me.
So apparently, then kangaroo is not the name of that animal in any Australian
local language.
Yeah, native Aboriginal language. But the thing is that I think they only actually live on like half of Australia, and the other half doesn't have them. And it's
really?
Yeah. and it's that the English explorers, they got a interpreter who is from one side of Australia, and we're just like, oh, we'll take you around. Your language at least is closer to these other languages, so it'll help us.
Yeah.
They went around with this guy, and then they saw a kangaroo, and they asked their translator, what is that thing? And he said, I don't know, which in his language sounds like kangaroo. But then they never like asked any of the people who actually live around kangaroos. They just wrote down kangaroo.
No,
and
we
that's
got
how
tricked.
I got it. Yeah, it's similar to the story of why pandas are called pandas in English.
Oh,
The Chinese name is so different because in Chinese, pandas are called shongmao, which means bear cat.
Oh, yeah, that.
And
Oh,
that
right,
doesn't
that
sound
the
like
Japanese.
panda, does it? And then the explanation is that the Englishman who is, being toured around by a Chinese guide, then he asked about the panda. He's like, "What is that?"
Mm-hmm.
And I guess there were like multiple animals. So the guide looked, and he was like trying to clarify which one the Englishman was asking about. So he said, the fat one, which in Chinese is pangda. So and the guy just wrote down panda.
See, that I like that one because that one is still descriptive of the animal.
It is, yeah. So the English word for panda comes from the Chinese word for the fat one.
And then they made Kung Fu Panda, and then it all came together.
It all made sense, yeah. Yeah, I wonder how they translated that in Chinese. If it's the Kung Fu Fat One.
I mean, it would make sense.
It does, yeah.
Calling it the Kung Fu Fat One.
Mm-hmm.
There was a movie, I forgot, with the actor who's not John Candy, but also like really fat. Kind of from the same age.
The SNL guy?
I think it's the SNL guy, and he made a movie where he's becoming a ninja, but he's still fat.
And Beverly Hills Ninja. Is it Chris Farley? Chris Farley?
I guess.
Yeah.
It's gotta be that one, because in German that one was called die Ninja Wurst. So the ninja sausage.
Oh, poor Chris Farley, the ninja sausage.
So the ninja sausage versus the Kung Fu Fat One.
Yes. Great movies.
And wait for the cinematic universe.
I know, the fat cinematic universe. Everything gets a cinematic universe these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of them don't make it past movie one, but
yeah.
Back to no wait,
Ayashimon.
This was just a
cinematic universe
with
Chico Kuraku. Just make it be like that was the past in this.
No wait, what was the other with Boba Fett?
The Mandalorian? What?
Yeah, because he's taking over the Tatooine Kabukicho.
Oh,
he has to...
yes. Did we talk about that before?
Not on stream.
That show just came out
minutes before.
Yeah, but I think we were talking about it before we started streaming about how the Book of Boba Fett. It's like they should have made it more like Ayashimon. They didn't. They didn't take the time. Because in the first episode, it's like he's just like, yeah, I'm the new gang boss here, and then he pretty quickly gets attacked by people sent by some other crime boss, and there's some flashbacks to how he got out of the Starlock pit and all that. But it's like I was watching it, being like, they spent no time whatsoever doing things like teaching us who the other crime bosses in the area are and like what their deal is. And I was like, in Ayashimon they do it. They have those pages where they have the big spread and they shows the name of the guys and what their gang is called and what their business is, and it's like, come on, Disney, you could have done that for Boba Fett. It would have made it, you know, it just would have made it make more sense instead of being like, who the hell are these guys attacking him?
And it's not like Disney is completely unaware of manga and anime, because
they used to do all the translations for Ghibli movies. And
I mean,
they just did the Star Wars anime thing, the Anna Star Wars.
Yeah, Visions.
Yeah.
The trailer looked good. No, I don't have.
The trailer was excellent. There were a couple of episodes that I really enjoyed, and then there were some that were just like really dumb. And I'm like, this is a story that did not need to be in Star Wars. Doesn't matter.
I remember Shad's crew saying that they liked it as a concept, but then said it as stories and fitting into the existing lore, it doesn't make any sense, and they didn't like it as much as they thought they would.
Yeah, the problem is that too many of like the ones that I enjoyed are like, they're not really Star Wars stories, they're Star Wars inspired stories,
which is okay.
Which is fine, but
there should be more like that. None of them
fit together, and like the best one is basically just a Kurosawa film, like a mini Kurosawa film about a samurai protecting a village from baddies. And the only thing is that some of the people in the village are like weird aliens. And then at the end, the leader of the bandits pulls out a lightsaber, and then the samurai is like also
pulling,
has a lightsaber. Yeah, and that's the only connection to Star Wars. Yeah, so I'm like, it's cool because there's a lot of Star Wars stuff. Like, I think a lot of fans said that The Mandalorian was basically a Western in space, which I agree with.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, do more. I mean, a lot of samurai stuff and Western, like spaghetti Westerns, are pretty much the same genre, just with swords versus guns.
Pretty much.
I'm cool with doing stories like that in the Star Wars universe, but the other things, because every episode is a completely different story.
Yeah.
Nothing fit together.
But I mean, it doesn't have to. But right. I think people didn't like that it also didn't fit together with existing Star Wars.
Right. It wasn't in the, quote unquote Star Wars universe. It's in an alternate version. Well, maybe they can open up a portal and bring that samurai over to help them next time.
But I thought that's exactly what Star Wars needed nowadays.
What? Alternate universe?
No, departure from the pre-established story, and just either going 1,000 years into the future or 1,000 years into the past, where nothing matters.
To be honest, I was kind of hoping that the Mandalorian and Boba Fett stuff would be that to an extent, where they keep the setting, because people like the aesthetic of the older movies. And like the newer movies tried to bring back the aesthetic, but then they were so focused on like, let's bring back as many famous names from the previous things, and it didn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, so why don't we do some stories that are in this setting, but it's like people that you wouldn't have heard of before unless you're a big fan of those cartoons that most people never watched. And then just do stories that are not directly connected to like Darth Vader and the Emperor.
Or alternatively, do stuff in the age before Luke Skywalker.
Just any of the time periods where they haven't already trod on so many times.
Well,
Yeah.
anyways,
Anyway, back to Ayashimon.
I was going to say something connecting Ayashimon and Jigokuraku, and that is that when you read Jigokuraku, where the author was on a completely different schedule, Jigokuraku was made for Jump Plus, and that means he gets his own schedule. I think the authors still stick to like a general like 2 week, 1 month kind of thing, but they have a lot more freedom. It's not as strict, and it really shows because when you compare Jigokuraku with Ayashimon like has some. It looks kind of shoddy. It looks like he knows he's on a weekly schedule and he doesn't have to put as much effort into it.
My thought was that maybe when he was doing Jigokuraku, he didn't hire as many assistants because he's like, oh, I can do more of my own. And then he still has like, a smaller team, and then there's more to do. So he's like, I'll just keep it simpler.
I guess that could be.
Because there's a lot of pages in Jigokuraku that are just really super detailed.
Yeah.
And it's just very impressive.
So heads up, everybody, you should read Jigokuraku if you remotely enjoy Ayashimon. Because it looks better.
Probably when we're both done with it, we should do like a review. Do a special episode that's just a review of that series.
Next week because this week is a double issue, so next week won't have any weekly Shonen Jump.
Okay, well you have a lot of reading to do.
I can do it in one day, but only if it's like a day where I don't have anything else going on.
Which reminds me, there's one panel that you didn't have where everyone in the office is looking around and they look at Maruo and he's done nothing, and they're like, he's been sitting there reading manga for 12 hours now. I'm like, relatable.
That's me.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize what he was reading, so I didn't want to mention it because then I would be forced to say, "Oh, this is." I think the title of the thing he was reading was something like "Ringu ni Kakeru" or something. So I'm guessing it's a sports manga, but I didn't recognize it and didn't want to bother looking it up because. The English translation that we got has a slightly less good quality. So when you zoom in, it becomes just as unintelligible as if I was just guessing.
You know what would have been nice would be if he was reading like one of the made up manga from other series where there are manga artists. Like imagine if he was reading Shark Kick or Otter Number 11.
Yeah, that would be. I like it when these kind of things happen.
Yeah.
But also, like you rarely have a made up manga series inside a manga.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, I think there's probably a movement to make more references to stuff because they realize it's funny
to people love it in Roboco, right? Well, I say people, I mean us.
Us, yeah. But the fact that Roboco is still going strong, I think that's a sign that Roboco is doing well. Mm-hmm. She's getting comparatively many color pages for a gag manga.
For a gag series.
Gag series get very rarely get any color pages at all.
Yeah.
Historically. I think
if one will get it, this one is one that deserves it. Roboco is very funny.
Yeah. Just hope they don't give her a male voice. I'm going to die if they do.
Fingers crossed. I had also noticed when they're in the office that
in Ayashimon.
Sorry. One of the low-level thugs that they inherited from the previous guy. It's like he's blushing and sweating when they're getting scolded by Aurora.
Well, it's funny because first she's praising them, like, like over the top. She's testing out how they react, and she's like, "Oh, you guys are so manly. Thanks that I get to rely on you." It's like, "Oh, okay." And then she immediately scolds them, like, "Wow, this is shit. You guys suck."
And they love it.
Do you have anything to say for yourselves? And he's like, "Oh."
These are your kind of guys. This is the gang that you
Yeah.
would join if you were a mystical creature in the
Oh, wait,
Japanese
but
underworld.
like if I was their boss or if I was
If you were one of them.
I'm not sure if I'm kind of in between wanting to get bullied and bullying myself. I can't really tell if I like either.
Well, maybe I'll
Which one I like.
I'll start being meaner to you on stream and see how you react.
Okay.
But yeah, I was surprised with the next panel.
Yeah,
where they actually meet the big bad so quickly.
First, we see Doppo's henchmen, his lieutenants, bullying other people, other criminals, killing them, just like for fun, just to find out info. And when they don't get any info, they just do it anyway.
Apart.
And then you think, oh, this is getting dangerous. Let's see how they get by this dangerous situation. And Doppo just walks straight to them. They don't. He brings the danger straight to them. The biggest one of them all. And it's interesting that Doppo like immediately realizes that Urara is something special.
I like the way treats her. Yes.
That way.
I do like how they have that scene where he's like, "Oh, I drove my favorite car here. Look down at it, and I took extra care for the interior." And she looks into the window and sees that he's got a Hashihime tied up in there. And I'm like, "Oh, this is the it's just like straight up gangster stuff, even though they're supernatural."
Yeah.
It's I'm threatening you because I've got your friend tied up, so you know how tough I am. And it's like, you don't even need to be supernatural to have a bad guy do something that crazy.
Yeah, that was cool.
Then we got Maro jumping in.
Yeah, but
trying to be One Punch Man.
That part wasn't cool.
Ineffective.
I wanted to say how lame this punch is and how much I still don't like Maruo.
Even though he sits around reading manga all day like us.
That was good, but him doing action stuff is unsatisfying because it could be better.
Yeah.
Especially when you know how Chigoku looks.
Yeah, his fight scenes are just like they're just like less good One Punch Man.
It's actually less good than Roboco when she does the same stuff and like punching people really hard in funny ways. And I would say Maruo is even worse than Roboco in that regard. As a character, I'd say he's is he? Wait, is he better than Roboco?
No, he's not funny.
He's not even better than he's not
funny sometimes.
Yeah, half of the time Roboco is funny.
It's like the first chapter set him up as if he's going to be the main hero, but he seems more like, he's just a tool for Urara.
Yeah, he's the C3PO and R2D2 of Ayashimon.
Yeah. Oh yeah, come to think of it, R2D2 is actually quite overpowered, isn't he?
Ah, that's true. Yeah, he's R2D2.
Yeah, he's the R2D2.
I always like another Star Wars detour, but I always like when we get reminded that Final Fantasy XII is just Star Wars, and people complain about Van and to a lesser degree, what's his friend Penelo, and nobody realizes that this is not just Square Enix saying we have to stick to the pretty boy formula. Nobody says they are the C3PO and R2D2.
Except for
because they are. Except for me, I'm the only enlightened one. I have so much insight, and nobody to share it with.
Yeah, all your eyes are still on the inside.
That's true.
Well, I did Google Van Panoa R2D2, and there is a page that has the two of them juxtaposed with each other.
Yeah, that's just
So
one.
it's not just you. There's some other people who think that as well.
It's an easy comparison.
Yeah.
Also, everybody's jerking off about what's his name, the Han Solo guy.
The Han Solo guy. Oh, from Final Fantasy.
From Final Fantasy. God, what's his name? It's not.
I don't know.
Bush.
I didn't play 12.
It's. You didn't?
I didn't. All I know
you
about
missed
12
out.
is the rabbit girl good.
Because she's Chewbacca.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's Chewbacca. Everybody's like always jerking off over how this pair.
They never realize they're jerking off to Chewbacca.
Well, no. Everybody is praising them for being like, "Oh, that would be so much more interesting. I wish they were the main characters." But they don't do anything either. They are just as unimportant as Van and Penelo. The only really important characters are Ash and Bosch. What's his name? Bosch von Rosen. I forgot it. Anyways, yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Balthier, yeah.
Balthier, okay.
He's just Han Solo. He's just as unimportant as C-3PO and R2-D2.
Yeah, Googling him, it says that he was based on James Bond and Han Solo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It shows.
Do you recommend playing that game sometime, since I love Final Fantasy Tactics and it's set in the same world?
It's kind of the same world. Final Fantasy Tactics is a different Ivalice than the one from Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. And Tactics Advance is also kind of different from Final Fantasy 12 in that it's not the same geography, it's not the same kingdoms and nations and stuff. The only thing it really shares is the same races. Some place names are the same. The summons are not the regular Ifrit, Shiva, Ramu things, but different creatures who are, I think, more based on the zodiac.
Oh yeah, that's kind of interesting.
They're really interesting, but there's only like 2 characters who are direct XPs, and they don't really share, like they're not exactly the same character, but they look the same, they're named the same, they talk the same, but they don't have the same role. One of them is the Mughal Mont Blanc, and who was the other one? I think the other one was a Numo.
Wow.
Either way,
the PC version of Final Fantasy 12 is still $50. That's a surprise.
What the? You could buy it for. It is, but you could just buy it on PS4 or Switch. There's a Switch version that's really cheap. I think $20.
Oh, really? Yeah, maybe I'll get on that then. Although I'm always, now that we have the channel, I'm like, whenever I'm thinking of playing a new game, I'm like, should I record it? I don't have anything to record a Switch or PlayStation.
Put it on the list.
Yeah, I'll put it on.
Put it on the list.
Anyway, so what would you give this chapter of Ayashimon?
75.
Really? I gave it a 70, and I said free her for Hashihime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pray for her.
Free her. And going on next, we've got Dr. Stone.
Dr. Stone.
Once again, I think last time we praised a lot the double page with the tech tree. And now we see the whole progression of human civilization. Yeah.
I liked it. I definitely wanted to highlight it.
Yeah, it's very good. And then
space.
Yeah, Senku wakes up and he's in space. And he's all alone.
I wonder how this looks in the printed version, because you might know how shitty the actual
the
printing. It's like
know.
sometimes when you have something black, it's about as spotty as the stars here.
Right.
So this might not really translate well into printed format, but it looks really good.
Then fans can just get excited for when it comes out in a book form, and then they can get it. It'll look really good.
True.
And I'm sure they're going to make it look really good in the anime as well. Yeah, I'm sure it will.
I don't know. The anime could have been a little bit more. If you've watched it, the first season could have been a little bit more effort, a little bit more money, but also, I guess Dr. Stone isn't as much of a cult hit as Chainsaw Man, where you can go all out.
Yeah, well, hopefully they spend much of their efforts on this scene, because it's really cool.
This scene alone.
Yeah. And then he gets to eat some ramen in space.
Yeah, that.
When they went there, I was like, I don't actually remember his dad talking about eating ramen in space.
Maybe that was in the spin-off series. That's
I don't remember that
non-canon
either. Yeah, I just because I did read that as well, but it was a kind of nice little demonstration of like, this is how far we've come, because it took us so long just to be able to recreate ramen in the stone world. Space. And then now we've gone from there to creating a spaceship.
Yeah.
So how much advancement we've done.
Yeah. I like the progression.
Yeah.
I don't feel a lot when people talk about ramen, because ramen is my sworn enemy.
Oh really? I love ramen.
Yeah.
If we ever have guests on, we're going to have to start a tally of ramen or anti-ramen, and everyone will be on my side, because it's delicious.
Yeah, but the alternative is hamburger, and I don't know if ramen can win against hamburgers.
Ooh. Well, someday we'll have to join our two houses and create a ramen burger. Oh, actually, people do that, but it looks kind of gross. Have you ever seen that?
What?
Ramen burger, where people put the dried noodles on the sandwich. It looks terrible. I've never tried it though.
I might have seen it. I might have blocked it from my memory.
Yeah, I have friends who, you know how, well, I don't know about there, but here it's really common with burgers. You put a slice of Kraft American cheese on it because it melts really well.
Yeah.
Do you have that over there? Like
melty cheese?
Yeah, no, it comes in like a little square. And
yeah, how is that different from just melty cheese?
Because it's, I mean, a lot of times when you get melted cheese, it comes like in liquid form, but Kraft singles come in solid form. But it's just that they melt better than a lot of other cheeses. So like they melt in a way so that they kind of stay on top of what they're melted on and not drip a lot. But they also doesn't become super stringy like a lot of like pizza cheese does.
I mean, yeah, that's the standard burger cheese, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, I know people who say that stuff is amazing on ramen, and I'm like, doubt.
Huh.
I don't want to do that. I don't think the kind of cheese that goes on a burger would go on ramen, but I could be wrong. I've known multiple people claim that it's good.
What would you say is like the good part about ramen?
Well, I really like the texture of the ramen noodles and the variety of broths you can get. Yeah, it's just, I really like it, and especially when you get it in a store that will like put lots of the goodies on top of it. So you get all the different meats and veggies and the the boiled egg.
Hmm.
It's delicious.
Well, let me tell you what's bad about ramen.
What's bad about ramen?
Okay, first of all, when you want to eat it, it sloshes everywhere and it slaps your cheeks, and you get out being like wet cheeked, and that's not good.
You're eating it
especially
wrong.
when you. No. There's only one way to eat it, and you slurping the noodles in, and then it goes like, and you have to eat it like really carefully, so all of the broth is just dropping down back into the cup.
No. You don't have to do that. There's
And then
all
people
kinds of
tell you
ways
you're
to do
doing it wrong because you have to slurp it, but when you slurp it,
Uh-huh.
it slaps your cheeks.
Yeah, I
And-
don't slurp it. I know.
and then
I've
you-
seen people saying like, "Oh, that's the traditional way. It makes it
Yeah.
taste better." But I'm like, no, it just makes it messier.
In
You
fact,
can
one of
eat it
my
in other
teachers. One of my teachers said if you don't slurp it, it's disgusting because it gives him the impression as if it's not delicious.
Okay, I think you learned how to eat ramen from people who are overly traditional, but we here do not require you to return to monkey. So you eat it however makes you happy.
It goes on. It goes on. You have to drink the broth later on, and that's just salt water.
That's a good part. I like drinking the broth.
And
it's
that's
so delicious.
sometimes just salt water, and then you return to your hostel in Fukuoka and have to go to the toilet like every 20 minutes.
Have you ever
And the
had
toilet is like
Have you ever had the kind where they put butter in it?
no.
That is really good. I think it's more common up north because that's where they have all the cows.
That sounds like it.
Yeah, it's really good. It just adds that extra little kick to it.
Yeah, but then you have to you can't digest that well. You just
No, it's great. Ramen, if you get all the stuff in it, it's a complete meal with all of the different food groups.
And a bunch of times they put like gross meat on top, like because you wouldn't notice if it's good or bad, so they just give you the one with a lot of cartilage and a lot of chewy fat bits and sinew, and you go like, yeah, ramen, that's such a fast food.
Actually,
and then you eat it and you go like,
that part is something I will agree with you, but more specifically, not to ramen. It doesn't happen to me as much with ramen, but have you ever had Taiwanese beef noodles?
No.
They do that all the time, and people are like, the cartilaginous part of the meat is the best part. And I'm like, I don't want that part.
No.
But they're like, no.
Worse.
Because they put this big chunk of beef in all your noodles. So you're like eating the noodles. It's like yum yum yum, and it's beefy goodness. And then you bite into the meat, and you're like, what is this cartilage texture? And they're like, no, we gave that to you because it's good. And I'm like,
yeah, fuck you, you're lying. You gave that to me because I'm the foreigner, and you thought I couldn't tell.
So it's one of those things where it's like it is tradition, but it feels like a trick.
Yeah, but watch this. Now, the difference to hamburgers, they put that they might give you that bit from the meat, but they put it in the grinder, and then you don't notice that it had cartilage in it because then it's all just mush.
That's why we got to combine the two, but make instead of the cartilaginous chunk of meat, put a burger patty on the noodles. See how that works.
I mean, you could just put meatballs in, but I guess then it's just
a different kind of
not.
dish.
Yeah, it wouldn't be regular ramen anymore.
Yeah.
Wait, there's more. There's more. There's more. The noodles when you it's night and you go like, I want to eat something, but I don't want to eat too much, but I'm really hungry, and then you make a cup of ramen. Or instant ramen.
That's a good time for instant ramen.
But that's like such a light snack. You actually need like 5 more to satiate your hunger.
No. You're not adding enough to it. You don't just use the packet of ramen. You gotta
use another one.
No. It's you rummage through your freezer and fridge and put stuff in it as well.
But I want it to be a fast
Get
food.
some frozen veg. No. Here's the cool part. So you put in some frozen veggies and you put in an egg, and then the hot water that you pour over the noodles cooks that stuff too.
No, I'm not going to do that because
it's fast.
that's
It's
veg.
so fast.
Yeah, but that's vegetable.
Oh yeah.
Why would I do
keep
that?
Forgetting you're the kind like whatever that guy's name is from Final Fantasy 15 who gets the burger and picks the tomatoes.
I'm Noctis.
Yeah, you're Noctis.
It's me. I'm the prince.
I like the veggies on the burger too. It makes it feel more complete.
Yeah, but like even if we compare like vegetable on the burger and vegetable on the ramen, the burger vegetable wins out. Even if I like, you can take out the burger vegetable more easily than the ramen vegetable. That's also a plus.
Yeah, probably because they're bigger pieces.
Yeah, and it just matches better. In the ramen, you have lots of like onions
to solve world hunger with McDonald's
burgers.
Yeah,
I haven't heard of it, but I'm a big fan of it, and I'm going to.
The plan to. So this, I like ramen, but I'm like, no, this would not work with ramen. This works better with burgers, because the idea is that currently, like, through the UN and a bunch of those NGOs, like, rich countries give so much money to try to bring food to poor areas, and then it always has a problem because, like, all the people who, like, they bring the food over to those places, and then it just gets confiscated by, like, corrupt government people or warlords,
like Coney 2012.
Yeah, exactly. And then those people, like, sell it for inflated prices and just, like, you know, enrich themselves, and it doesn't really help normies. So then the idea was, instead of spending that money on just sending food over, spend that money to subsidize people in those areas to open McDonald's franchises. Because if they open a McDonald's franchise,
they earn money from it.
They earn money, so they can put it back into the local economy, and it's, you know, it's the normal people.
They don't become reliant on.
Yes, they're not relying on the warlords, and then because a lot of those places there are governments, but it's just that there's so many corrupt people that are willing to look the other way that, like, warlords still, like, actually control lots of places. But if there's McDonald's franchises that are paying taxes, then the police will be incentivized to actually, like, protect them. So the idea is, like, if you do that, if you spend all the money that gets spent on just, like, you know, buying corn and rice and stuff to send to poor places, and instead of that, you just like subsidize people to open up McDonald's.
There's only upsides to it.
Yeah,
there's no downsides.
Exactly. Yeah, we could fix the world one Happy Meal at a time.
Yeah. See, that's why I'm the big burger elf, because I'm fighting for world peace and against world hunger, and everybody else is just playing GTA. I'm, like, changing the world, man.
Anyway, how would you rate this chapter of Dr. Stone?
70.
Oh, really? I didn't give it as high, because I'm like, so the two panels that we show, I'm like, oh, I really like those panels. Yeah. And I was like, nothing else happened, so I said 60.
Yeah, I was tempted to give it less points, but then I compared it to the other series in this week, and then I had to like adjust the points a little bit.
Oh, okay. And speaking of other series, next we have Dororon. Yeah. I'm glad you pulled out this page. First of all, I was actually surprised that Ginshio turns out to be rich, because they already had, like, last week they set up that her motivation for rising in the samurai organization is because of that
money.
friend of hers. No,
right?
it's because her friend. And then now in this one, they have her servant talking about how she's always been so proper and this and that. And I'm like, oh, they're giving her like two different motivations for the same thing. So one after another.
That's true. That's right. I was complaining about that earlier.
Yeah.
But like her first motivation was to get a good career as a samurai, and to
Right.
do that she has to save more people, and in order to save more people she also has to recruit more capable samurai.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, so it muddles it a little bit.
Yeah, the author is putting everything into her.
Mm-hmm.
You could make 4 different characters out of her.
I know. Well, there's
5 if you count her mouth.
Yeah, there's not enough tracksuits to go around for that, so just put it all into one character.
Yeah.
Did you have any special thoughts about this page with her
stuffed animals? I like that she
Lahaj and others.
I liked I liked that she was petting Kusanagi and that she was really into it.
Yeah, she loves it.
Because everything with Kusanagi actually makes it somehow better.
Yeah. One thing that I thought that I noted down about this is like when it shows all the stuffed animals and she's petting Kusanagi, it's like the author, he's trying to like subconsciously get you to associate Kusanagi with stuffed animals, to be like, don't forget to purchase your own Kusanagi plush from wherever Jump merchandise is sold.
Kusanagi really is like prime real estate for the Jump store.
Yeah.
Have you been in a Jump store before?
No, never.
I love them. They're so cool. So they have the sad thing about them is that they are really seasonal and that they constantly rotate all of the old merchandise out.
So you have to go all the time. Do they sell season passes?
No. That's unfortunate.
If we read enough manga, we could get some of that stuff for free.
I wish, but yeah, they only have like the stuff that's either super new or like the staple item, let's say.
Yeah.
Although thinking about
if it's popular enough, then they,
but
they might as well.
I think they don't even sell Naruto headbands anymore.
Really? Oh, that's a shock.
Yeah.
I would not have expected.
They sometimes still have like t-shirts for old stuff. You'd think, but yeah.
Maybe by this point, everybody who wanted one already has one.
Yeah, I mean, nowadays, who would still want a Naruto headband?
Well, now that he's in Fortnite, kids love Naruto again. They're like, they dress up like that ninja from Fortnite. Just like no.
Speaking of which,
kids forgot about Martin Luther King Jr. until he got into Fortnite.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I still have a Naruto headband because I did buy one that like from the very first time they released Naruto merchandise. I happened to be one of the times when I was in Japan. That was like really I think that was when the anime started, the first episode of Naruto. I happened to be there, and so they didn't have the merchandise machine going on just yet, and Naruto headbands were an item that you would only get from the Jump Festa, the annual what's it called?
I don't know.
Exhibition. They have a big exhibition in an exhibition hall with lots of different for Jump for all the different Jump series, like showcasing new anime developments and new merchandise and doing stage shows and stuff. And from that previous Jump Festa, they still had some Naruto headbands in one of those stores that sell goods after they And I got one of those, and I wonder how much it's worth now.
Yeah.
Because if they don't sell them anymore,
does it say that where it's from? Like this is a Jump Festo.
That's definitely yeah.
Nice.
That's an official branded thing, and I hope it's worth like at least $100 because I could really use that money.
Oh yeah. Buy a new computer with the money from a special edition Naruto headband.
Yes.
That's the beginning of your media empire.
Almost mint condition. I only unwrapped it like 2 times.
That's a sad story in one sentence.
No!
One Naruto headband never worn.
Child size.
Child-sized Naruto headband never worn. Oh, it's so sad.
I have lots of those stories from my thousands of years of Japanese fandom.
I wonder if helmets like this are going to start selling. Special editions of them.
All of this just because we thought Kusanagi is a plush.
Yeah, and now we're gonna buy floppy mouth motorcycle helmets.
Doesn't this one panel look like really stupid?
Yeah, it looks like the smile was drawn on her visor.
Yeah, but also like he could have drawn it a little bit higher. But then he realized, if it's too high, it gets cut off by the helmet's line, and then he didn't commit to like making the helmet line transparent. Yeah. So he put it a little bit lower, and that's just wrong. I just wanted to say how stupid it is that
it would be more acceptable as a panel if there was like a bit of an outline of her jaw as well, so that. It gives more of an idea of you're being able to see through the helmet right now, rather than here where it looks like the smile is drawn on top of the helmet. What if
it's not the smile, it's her chin, and the nose nostrils are the actual mouth? Can you look at it and then think, oh yeah, that's it?
No, I don't want that.
I'm straining my eyes right now to
just squint
try and
a little
get this.
bit and look at it.
Yeah.
No, I don't like it.
Because her nose would also be like kind of the smile.
Yeah, it looks like it, I've seen smiles drawn that way. Could be.
I have to edit it to look as stupid as like even more stupid than it already does. Anyways, there wasn't really just 61 because it was kind of like a rehash of the previous chapters where she's just reconfirming their determination, and
they do introduce the concept of the what do they call it, the mononoke, that now there's some that have some sort of hierarchy between them,
I guess. Yeah,
so I mean that's something.
Something.
Yeah, I think we've compared this with Ayashimon before, and how like they have similar elements, but are coming at it from such different directions. Where Ayashimon is like, here's the supernatural underworld. By the way, there's some guys from the government who are tasked with keeping tabs on it. Well, this is like, there are these guys who fight supernatural creatures. And then now they're like, by the way, they might have some sort of organization to them.
Ayashimon is just pest control, it seems. Mm-hmm. And Dororon is just pest control, and Ayashimon is like, we live in a society.
Yes.
I mean, it has so much lore, and it has like concepts about fear and money woven into the whole setting, where you could make where you could like really say something profound about what power is and how power structures work. But this one is just we have to kill the bad thing.
It's just standard shonen manga.
It's not which isn't bad per se,
No,
but it could
I
have
like a
been
lot
better.
of standard shonen manga stuff. But yeah,
In the beginning,
I'm
you would
still
have thought the
waiting. I'm
same
still
about
waiting
Kimetsu.
for it to
Pick up.
to pick up, get more exciting. Anyway, next
Waiting-
we have
Waiting for the
Samurai.
Madoka episode where Mononoke bites off Ginshio's head.
Oh my gosh, that would be tragic.
Yeah, but maybe it needs it.
Such a the twist.
Downer? Oh yeah.
Big downer.
If that hadn't happened in Madoka, it would have been as good as it is, even though it was like I hate it. I hate that it happened in the story because I like
those. Yeah, there's lots of stories that have that where you're like, oh, God damn it, I can't believe they did that to that character. Or like, but then you're like, oh, the story would not have progressed the way it did, and it's it's what it is.
Kind of like, I wish Ned Stark had been around for longer in Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
but you know why he had to go
to the end. Yeah, because he had to go because if he had survived that, he would have learned, and since he's already wiser than everybody else, he would have solved all the problems way earlier.
If only All Might wasn't depowered already.
Yeah, lots of these stories. They're like, okay, we have someone who's really good, but we got to get rid of them somehow, or make them less powerful, because otherwise, it makes it a lot easier for the good guys when they have their help.
I think a mark of a good series is how contrived of a reason it is they give to depower the overpowered guy.
Yeah, I think probably a lot of them have something like Star Wars, where they combine the depowering the OP guy with the showing off how threatening the main bad guy is.
Huh?
Just
you mean like Darth Vader or Palpatine in
Vader
in the last? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, I stopped you from moving forward to Elusive Samurai.
To Elusive Samurai, yeah. He evaded my forward motion to our review. He knew that we wouldn't like it.
I'm gonna say I hated this chapter.
I was not a fan. We get introduced. Well, no, we were introduced to this guy last week, right?
Yeah, but only like half of the last chapter was dedicated to him, and now it's the full chapter.
Yeah, his name is what? Yoritsugu.
Yoritsugu, which is it's kind of funny how Tokiyuki has his mentor Yorishige, and then Yorishige's son is I think it was Tokitsugu, and then his son is Yoritsugu. So it's like mixing and matching three different words.
People were lazy with naming back then. Have you seen that tweet about Roman names?
No.
So it's about how people in Roman days, they would always get names that were just based on number of their order of birth.
Oh, yeah.
There are like loads of people running around who's, they would just have names like Primus or whatever. To be like, oh, I was the first one. Like, I forget Roman.
First of his name.
Yeah, exactly. But there's some joke where they're making fun of how there's some names in modern day that are common that actually sound like really high numbers in Latin.
Oh?
And that if a Roman person met somebody with a name like that, they'd be like, holy shit. How many kids are in your family?
Damn, you must have so many brothers.
Yeah, exactly.
In the panel that I was going to highlight, I just noticed something. I didn't even notice it before. Because Yoritsugu is being a little shit and lying about
Tokiyuki look bad.
Yeah, because he's just an asshole. And and he pretends that Tokiyuki is a knife licker.
Yeah, he's a psycho knife licker.
Like a knife licker. But did you notice that on his pants, the triangle pattern?
It changed.
The Hojo's insignia is
it's
the Triforce,
upside down,
and this one is the inverse
umbrella.
of that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's umbrella, but it's the inverse of a Triforce, and that.
Very clever.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that.
They even flipped the pattern.
Just to
this
show
whole
how
chapter was so much scum face. Too much scum face.
He's such a. It's weird how
too much of a
the author. This author only has like a femboy main character in his repertoire, and maybe a few girls who also look like, I mean, femboys with different hairstyles. And everybody else just has asshole weirdo face. No in between. Wait, no.
Not like One Piece, where there's a wide variety.
He has one more face, and that's Yorishige's face, which is kind of exactly the same as what was his name? Magentante Neuro?
Oh yeah, Nero. He does look kind of like that.
He's basically the same character.
Yeah, but is Nero a god of something?
He's a demon, but demon is in this case like basically just a hell god.
God of mischief. Although he's a hell detective Nero. Is that his title?
You say Neuro, which is weird because I would have in German EU is pronounced Oi. So like Euro is Europa.
Oh.
And to me, he would be pronounced Neuro.
Well, there's a difference between German and English.
But now here comes the kicker. This is both is wrong because in Greek it would be Neuro, and that's why Japanese is mimicking that. So he's actually pronounced Neuro.
Ah, I see. Well, that's how you gotta get it. I'm surprised you didn't clip out the panel where they actually start the race, where Yoritsugu challenges Tokiyuki to a race.
Yeah.
And he's starting to get sweaty, realizing he's gonna have to avoid everyone who
I guess I could have done that.
Yoritsugu
yeah, that's true.
got with his god powers to try to block him.
Maybe I should have.
Yeah. Well,
you're right.
We'll just have to go read this chapter that I hated. Just to see that page.
Yeah. 53 points from me.
Really? Oh, that's higher than I went 40 because I was like, this is such a drop off in stakes from all the war stuff.
That's true.
Like, the main character just having to deal with some shitty kid is not what I expected from this series.
Yeah, spoiled, shitty.
I feel like it.
Brat.
Yeah, I feel like the sort of race thing against him. If it had a different setup, where it was like, the dad and grandpa like trying to set it up to like, we need to teach him a lesson, maybe it would have been better. But I just don't like that it's like the kid himself is like, how about I challenge you like this, and then the dad and grandpa are like, just let him be an asshole. It has to be Tokiyuki to be like, no, I'm not gonna just let him be an asshole. So,
I guess that's true. Maybe I should have adjusted it.
Parentage from these supposed leaders. Although I guess that's not unrealistic because you hear lots of stories about people who have like rich kids who are like total brats when they're young because their parents are too busy doing whatever important thing that they think. So then they just let their kid do whatever.
Yeah,
and they end up being really
that's
annoying.
Realistic.
Yeah,
at least
realistic.
At least Tokiyuki called them out and said,
"At least he called him
do
out,
realize that this is bad and that we need you."
Yeah, he himself is a you know, he's a rich kid too, but he knows like this is not the way you should behave.
This is not the way.
Yeah, not doing
Yeah. Let's just move on
Roboco.
to
With a color
Roboco.
page. Yeah, and I forgot the Mako is supposed to be blue.
Oh yeah, that's true. I think I also would have forgotten about that.
Mm-hmm.
But I also always forget about her, so
She's there. Yeah.
she's there.
They need to bring back low battery Roboco more often when they want a cute.
If Roboco manages to survive long enough that they treat her as one of the staple characters, and when another failed attempt to make Jump Force shows up, and she becomes a playable character, I hope depowered Roboco is.
Well, that would have to be like when you beat her. That's what she becomes.
Or when she does like a big finishing move, then she's disabled for
her energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you'd want to play in that mode all of the time.
Yeah, send that letter to whoever develops those kind of games.
Nintendo hired this man. Me. I'm the one. I had the good idea, and that's why I get to make the whole game. All of it.
I don't think that's how it works. Although I saw gaming news. Sorry to get onto a tangent, but I saw gaming news about. I think I told you about how everybody hates the new Battlefield game, 2042. So it turned out that the lead designer of that game had never designed a multiplayer game before. And he had some different position in the company on the previous game, and the reason he got hired is because he was one of the designers from Candy Crush, and they were like, "You know how to do microtransactions really well. Get in here." And then somehow the lead designer, who had actually made like the good games before, like left to go to a different studio. So they're like, well, you had a lot of ideas that made us lots of money, so how about you be the lead designer for the next game? And he was like, okay.
No.
And he like changed everything to be based around microtransactions, and no one liked it.
That's bad.
I know, it was terrible. But that's one of those things where it's like you get some guy in a job because he's good at something that's like, you know, a very small part. Yeah, very small, specific part of the job. And then he takes over the whole operation and then thinks that part is like the most important. And
I guess to EA it was the most important part.
Yeah, but they were wrong. It's like if you don't
obviously
if you don't have a lot of sales, you're not going to get a lot of microtransactions because you just don't have the player base for it.
Yeah, they fucked up.
Yeah, they
should have hired me.
They should have hired you. They should have, or they should have given that guy some. Oh yeah, manly man broth. What's with the bone sticking in it?
Well, it's bone broth, isn't it?
Yeah, but with that small of bones, that doesn't seem right.
Also, why is everybody like super drooling and like literal boner rage over?
Did you read Dororon?
Yeah.
And there's the chapter with the girl who has the magic that can hypnotize people if they eat the
Yeah,
that's what Roboco is using now. She's got
but you would have
the power of the devil angel.
You would have thought that nobody likes manly man something, because before it was always just garbage. And now suddenly it's good?
Oh yeah.
What's up with that?
It's a continuity error. The video essayists are firing up their software.
Maybe it's not, because she did have this one chapter where she became the apprentice of the sushi thing.
So maybe she actually is good at cooking now.
But I
But they
thought
don't
at
talk
least,
about it.
yeah, they would have talked about that usually. Like, usually they'd make a point of, hey, wait a minute, I thought you were bad at cooking, now you're
Yeah,
good?
Bondo would
What's
try
up?
it and be like, "Oh, it's good this time."
Yeah,
He ate the dinosaur or the alligator though. So
right.
yeah. Wait, even though I thought that was stupid.
Yeah. um, her wearing the shorter version of the the shrine maiden.
Mm-hmm.
I knew they would say that it's fan service.
Yeah.
Got to
For us
give
to
the
see
people
her
what they
knees.
want. Yeah, what the people want, without spelling out that it's her knees.
We just get a little hint of knees, so.
It's kind of weird that this is the second thing where you think they would specifically call it out and they don't.
Mm-hmm. They expect us to know already. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
And then she gives out prizes this time.
Yeah. That was a funny joke with the
Yeah.
iPads.
Yeah, I laughed more when she gives out the great fortune, and she's like, "Oh, too bad," when everyone else is getting excited. I laughed at that part more than the reveal that it's because the great fortune is a shitty prize compared to an iPad. Yeah,
that's probably ties back into what you were saying earlier before we started the stream. How you hated that in modern online games, you hate how gold ranking is shit tier because they added too many tiers above gold.
Yeah, I started playing the new Halo game, and you can play ranked matches, and it'll give you a ranking like. And I got gold, and I was like, "Oh wow, I got gold! I was never good at Halo before, but now I guess I got better." And then I looked it up, and it's like, "Oh, there's like 3 ranks above gold, so gold is like average." And then I saw a tweet that was someone saying, "Join my Discord. It's for people who are bad at playing League of Legends." Gold ranking and under only, and I'm like, what the hell? I thought gold was supposed to be good, and I looked at the League of Legends ranking, and there's like 5 things above gold. Ridiculous. It's inflation. I mean, isn't gold supposed to be a standard? What are all those people selling on late night TV and radio shows?
You'd think, but at least platinum, we can all agree, platinum would be better than gold.
Yeah, I think everything has platinum above gold, but then they move from platinum onto like metaphysical concepts like challenger and champion.
You could still, I think diamond is still allowed to be above platinum, but that should be like the top one.
Yeah, I feel like diamond should be like what you get to be able to go to like tournaments and stuff. Like that should be the level of diamond. But I've seen games where they're like they have diamond and then they have pro league that's completely separate.
What's what was the material in Dr. Stone where they said that's the strongest metal?
Oh, is it titanium?
No, wait, it's tungsten.
Tungsten, yeah. There should be a tungsten league.
Yeah.
Because all of them do have bronze, silver, and gold because they're like Olympics based. But I wonder if there should be one where it's just the periodic table, just that side that has all the metals. It's completely based on the hardness of the metal.
No, but then the really further bad, you go on, you get when you're bad, you get helium.
Yeah.
But it's bad because then the highest
you're the most common element. That's how bad you are.
But I wouldn't want to be like if I'm the best player. If I'm the best player in the world, I wouldn't want to be like Einsteinium.
Yeah, the ones with
that sounds bad
names. Or what's the Superman one?
Kryptonite.
Yeah, Kryptonite. That's a real thing, right?
It's almost
close. I think it's a noble gas, though. It's not a metal.
It's not called kryptonite. It's called something very similar, like
Is Krypton? Because I think there is
No,
something with a similar name, but it's a different sort of element, and it's like, so you would never find it in nature
yeah,
as like a rock. Like a lot of metals you can find in nature just as rocks.
yeah.
Yeah, krypton is the chemical element with atomic number 36, and it is a odorless, tasteless gas.
Watch me still taste it.
Yeah. It's delicious krypton.
I have heightened elf senses.
Oh, wait. Looking looking on Wikipedia, you can solidify krypton, and in solid form, it is white and has a cubic crystal structure. So it doesn't look anything like it does in Superman.
Does it melt like Kraft cheese blocks?
I don't know. Should I put it on my ramen?
I'll put it on my burger first.
We'll give it a try. And
Yeah,
report back next week.
The one where kryptonite tastes better on is the winner.
All right, we'll invite Superman over next time to be a guest on the podcast, and
He will
see which
die.
team he picks.
He will literally die if he eats it.
Like, it's so good, I will literally die.
Do you remember the Super Dickory cover where Superman is eating all of the burgers and hungry people are like, Superman, please, we're starving.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I must eat.
Comics were so much better back in the old days. What has happened to American comic creators?
Yeah.
They've lost their way.
Lost their burgers.
Yeah. Anyway, so we see Roboco spent so much money buying prizes to give out.
I laughed.
Yeah.
I laughed when I saw it. They got the iPad mini.
And this page is what I thought you were actually going to mainly focus on. Because mainly what I thought about with this chapter is you gotta get the what everybody's thinking.
I love it when that happens.
Yeah.
That's why I put all of the panels together, at least all of the boys.
I also like the panel in the beginning when they're telling him not to walk through the gate. And he's like, what do you mean? And they're like giving him trivia, like, oh, don't you know that it's not proper to walk through the middle of the gate?
I kind of didn't know that either.
Yeah, I was like, oh, you learned something from this manga. It's educational.
I learned something, but I also felt kind of berated. I didn't want to get told that I've been doing it wrong all this time.
Oh no. But now you know.
It's okay because I'm half divine anyway.
Okay.
I get to do it.
Yeah, as long as nothing happens when you go through the middle of the gate, it's fine. Roboco prays for.
Yeah, I like it when these kind of meta jokes. She's so desperate.
I wonder what the editors thought of that when they saw that. They probably laughed.
They like it.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, you better wish for it.
Yeah.
knowing how the editors are depicted in Roboco, the Roboco editor must be yeah. You better wish for it. Beg for it. Then some bad guy shows up. I didn't include him because he looks so stupid.
Yeah, it was pointless. That was
it was completely out of nowhere.
The chapter, yeah. I feel like it could have been funny, but it just wasn't.
It wasn't really funny, and I the only thing I could always think about was that in Grand Blue Fantasy, they always have an event for New Year's that's tying in with the custom of hearing all the 108 bell rings, which banish all the evil sins that you might have amassed over the year. And in Grand Blue Fantasy, the bell absorbs the sins, but it always absorbs too many sins, and then it becomes possessed by the sins and goes on a rampage.
So you have to fight a bell?
Yeah, the bell transforms into a giant robot in later events. Over the course of the game's history.
Not what I expected from Grand Blue Fantasy.
Oh, yeah, Grand Blue Fantasy has like so many weird characters. You can basically form an entire team of super robots.
Wow.
Which are like 3 times as big as...
in One Piece, where they're just grabbing onto each other's arms and legs? Okay.
No, actual robots. Like you can have not the Gundams, but the equivalent from of Gundams in Code Geass.
Yeah.
You can have those. They have so many collaborations, and they have their own mechas in there. There's a character who's named Robo-Me, and she's not Roboco, but she's just as powerful in universe.
How are her knees?
Hidden.
We're not getting any fan service from that series. It's sad.
But I just got reminded of how Grand Blue Fantasy always has this New Year's event where the sin thing shows up and goes on a rampage and tries to put everybody give everybody misfortune, and then the good guys have to beat the bell, and then it reverts back to normal. And this reminded me of that. So I'm not sure if there is maybe some other reference that maybe Grand Blue Fantasy and Roboco are referencing the same thing.
Yeah,
but they do it in such different ways that it doesn't seem like they're connected.
Yeah, and what's this reference she makes about the mark on her arm after she fights the?
That's from. Didn't you get that? That's from Princess Mononoke.
Oh.
Where Prince Ashitaka kills the god, and then he gets possessed by the stuff in his arm, and that's why she says her arm is all Ashitaka'd up.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that. Somehow, when I think about Princess Mononoke and Ashitaka, I only remember his first action scene against the bandits.
Where he rips his head off.
Yeah, with the arrow. I remember I saw that in a theater, and everyone went, "Ooh!" when he shoots the guy's head off. It was like, it's such a brutal action scene to open up a.
Yeah, that's true. I completely forgot about it, even though I would have been like, yeah, this is actually kind of cool. But I forgot about it, and then recommended somebody who's like a bleeding heart environmentalist.
Because you're like, this has pro-environmentalist messages.
Yeah,
You'll
and I was like,
it.
The forest is so cool, and you will absolutely love it. And then I forgot about
that stuff.
About that stuff, and she later came back and told me, "You recommended me this movie where he's ripping somebody's arms and heads off. That was too brutal. I turned it off."
Oh no, she didn't even get to the part that she would have liked.
No,
Oh,
she didn't like it. She stopped watching it.
You need to just clip out the forest scenes for her. Send it specialty. You're like, these are the parts I wanted you to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should have done that.
How would you rate this chapter?
76.
Really? You liked it so much?
I liked it.
The first half.
Enough. The first half was good.
Yeah, I went 60 because I was like, the second half it took me out of it so much.
That's true.
Where she just like goes out and has a fight in the air. I'm like, no, do more of the stuff where you're talking about New Year's things and giving out iPads from your mouth.
I would have liked that. Imagine if they had spent all that panel time on more stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. It would have been great.
It would have been
As we've said before, anytime they take Roboco away from the other characters,
it's better.
Yeah. No, I mean, when it shows her alone, it's worse.
Oh, that's worse. Yeah,
Yeah.
the inverse of what I just said.
Yeah.
But it had enough stuff that I liked.
Mhm.
So that's why I kind of gave it a higher score than I probably
Yeah.
should have.
Yeah.
I laughed. I was just
laughed too.
wondering.
Maybe I was too harsh because I disliked the second half so much, but I did really like the first half. I laughed at it.
I was wondering the final panels where it zooms in on her arm.
Oh, and there's no mark anymore.
And there's no mark anymore. What does it mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Does it mean it vanished? Does it mean dun dun dun, remember this?
I'm sure it'll never be brought up again.
Possibly. Alternatively, next chapter could be Roboco and Misfortune, and then she's constantly being plagued by bad stuff happening to her because she took all of the misfortune from the town on herself. I think you could at least make one chapter out of that.
Mm-hmm. Well, we will see, I guess not next week, but the week after, right?
Yeah, let's find out.
We will find out. Then the
so finally is PPPPPP. And this was another really bad chapter because it basically was just a roll call of all of the other siblings.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow
a psycho knife licker?
No, but one of them looks like extremely bad. Like the next panel. I thought this guy in the background was like the butler, but he's also one of the siblings. And he's this guy with the crown-shaped face. And
he looks like somebody who's seen Dragon Ball Z once from a long distance away, trying to draw Vegeta from memory. Oh, what a design.
Yeah, these designs are...
What's his deal?
His deal is that he's awkward, I guess.
Okay.
It's hard to pinpoint what all of their deals are.
With hair like that, how could you not be?
These kids are bad. Like, if you go to the next panel, where the big sister, to me, she's the big sister, even though they're all septuplets. They're all the same age, and her clothes and her body is drawn like a noodly Betty Boop kind of. Like this is almost not manga. This is 1930s American black and white cartoon.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Weirdness.
I mean, Nami used to look like that, kind of.
Even Nami back in the day was more detailed than her. This is weird. These clothes don't make any sense.
And
it kind of looks like she's just wearing underwear.
Yeah, like a picture.
And later on, she shows up in a music store in Japan, and she's just walking around in this kind of underwear. That's weird.
Yeah, that is strange. But I'm not going to begrudge these characters for looking weird when earlier you were showing me that guy from Jujutsu Kaisen. like these designs are great compared to that guy.
You get the whole spectrum when you buy one issue of Jump.
Yeah.
So last chapter had somewhat of a cliffhanger where Melody, the new character who's going to teach Lucky about music theory, she was going to tell him about the evil aspiration of his father, and somehow the evil aspiration is really milquetoast, let's say. His goal is to create a world, a piano world where only geniuses exist.
Okay.
So basically, he wants
special is another way of saying that no one is.
No, because he just wants to eliminate everybody who can't play piano well from playing piano. So It's just extremely elitist.
Yeah.
But I don't get how how that's like I'm not scared of it. I don't think this is like evil enough.
It's too specific to
It's
already very specific.
And wait, and his definition of someone who's a genius is someone who can manifest fantasies, like basically how everybody is battling in this series, and that's even more specific. So, I don't like, it's unrealistic and it doesn't make sense, and it's so specific. Like, how would you be able to eliminate everybody from touching a piano if they're not like if they don't have a nen ability?
Yeah, if it
You
feels
can't.
like
It's
with stories
unrealistic.
that are this specific, then you need to make if there's like a villainous character, their thing also needs to be very specific and not grandiose to it, because when you have something that's like grandiose to such a small world, then it feels out of place for them to be being grandiose about it. Well, if it's like, if you made it more focused, like if there's someone who is villainous because they specifically are against the main character or the main character's family, it's like, okay, that works. But when it's like within this world of the, you know, the elite pianist, it's like, oh, I want to get rid of all the ones who don't have the nen abilities. It's like, okay, it's,
I don't care.
yeah, it's like halfway in between grandiose and overly specific.
The way it's hinted at how he would do it is like the next panel, the next page that I was highlighting is that Meloli explains he has basically endless money.
Okay.
And that's how he's achieving his goals, just by fixing competition.
Oh,
but
that's lame.
If he has to do it that way, like, doesn't that mean he's trying to get people to win who aren't geniuses?
Yeah, you'd think that to make sure that it's only the geniuses, you would just increase the fairness of the competition and be stricter about, oh, if you get eliminated once, you can't compete again.
Exactly. And even more so, I would have made it like his aspiration is to like make everybody listen to his piano play at the same time, and he's manifesting something like an infinite Tsukuyomi from Naruto, where he's putting everybody in an endless state of fantasy, and that's how he's controlling everybody. Maybe that's how I would have done it. That's how I would have said this is
that
his
would have
evil
been
plan.
More fitting for Shonen Jump, I guess.
Yeah. But so why isn't he doing that?
I don't know. It's a missed opportunity. They didn't think of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't show it, but Lucky meets his sister in the music store, and first he meets his teacher, who says, "Oh, don't I get one day off from seeing my students?" And he tells Lucky that, like, ages ago, he won against his father, and that's apparently the whole motivation to do this, because one time he lost, and now he has a grudge against everybody who's not himself. And then Lucky meets his sister, and she says, "Wow, you look just like Lucky. What a coincidence. You're almost his clone. That's so funny. Haha. Can you play piano for me?" And he's like, "Oh, sure, I guess." And she asks him to play. Yeah, and then she asks him to play für Elise, and he doesn't know how to play it by heart because he doesn't know it. And then she says, "Okay, I'll do it, and I'll play it twice, and you tell me which version was better." And that's the cliffhanger in quotation marks for the next chapter. So not only does this chapter introduce the other siblings with a more concrete design, and all of the designs are shit.
Yeah.
It also like sets the stakes very low and gives us a cliffhanger that's not even a cliffhanger. So back to 38 points.
Wow. Is this the worst one?
Of this week, yes.
That last thing you talked about with it just reminded me of a short comic that I saw online that I'm trying to find now, where it's the robbers breaking into the vault, and there's one guy there, and they're like, they're kidnapped him. They're like, oh, what's
I know
password?
exactly what you're talking about.
And then he's like, fine, I'll open it for you. Or what was it? They're like, we're gonna break your wrist if you don't open this for us. And he refuses. They break his wrist, and then he's like, okay, you've hurt me enough. It's enough. I'll tell you the password. And they're like, okay. And then a piano opens up, and and it turns out he's like a professional pianist. It's like, you have to play this Beethoven piece.
Yeah, and only he can play it. Yeah. Funny.
That would have been good for this series. That's what they should have done.
I think that was a Korean comic that's
yeah, I know it's Korean because the name of the guy sounded Korean. Where they say it's so and so, professional pianist.
It's a weirdly Korean comic that looks like a Western online comic. Because usually Korean online comics are just smartphone shaped.
Yeah, the webtoon stuff.
Long vertical strings.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the final thing that I read in this issue. So let me give you the final verdict.
All right.
Should I go from lowest to highest or the other way around?
Just do what you think is the best.
Okay, lowest to highest. The last place is PPPPP with 38 points. Then My Hero Academia with 40. Elusive Samurai with 53. Sakamoto Days at 56. Blue Box at 57. Then Dororon at 61. Jujutsu Kaisen with 65. Witch Watch at 68, Dr. Stone at 70, and then the top three are Ayashimon with 75, Roboco with 76, and One Piece with 78.
Yeah, I think One Piece was
the most interesting.
Yeah, it was good. I wonder if we need to make a spreadsheet so we can put ours together and make like a combined score for this final
I could do that.
Yeah, we should do that.
I could do that.
If you... you have to do it really quickly.
You mean on the fly? Because
yeah, on the fly to type it in at the end. Maybe I could play a song like what's the Jeopardy song? Or is it Wheel of Fortune? It goes do.
That's Jeopardy.
Jeopardy, yeah.
I'll definitely need more time than Jeopardy.
Yeah, not today, but for a future time.
Oh, I thought you meant making a graph of how much we ranked the chapters.
Yeah, that could be good. We could use one of those tier list things that they do, that a lot of people do online, and put in like a character from
each series.
Yeah, as a representative, and then move them around based on our numbers.
Now that you mention it, I forgot.
Let's do
I
that
forgot
next
one
week.
thing that I also wanted to do, and that is making a map of current Wano in One Piece.
Oh, that would be interesting.
And putting all of the heads of the characters and where they are right now.
Yeah,
because
they
you really
showed that in a few chapters of the past.
They sometimes do it, but right now they don't.
No, but we still need to know.
We do need it, especially we especially need to know who is part of what side, because there's
2 weeks.
That's true.
I'm looking forward to your cartography skills.
Let's see if I do it. Considering that most of the bad guys are already taken out, maybe it's not really necessary anymore.
Yeah. Maybe.
We might not need it anymore.
But make it anyway, just for fun, so we can show off your abilities. Test your strength.
I'll see what I can do. But first of all, I need to read up on Jigoku Raku.
Yeah, next week,
so that
special
we can
episode.
Talk about it. Big
Jigoku
spoiler cast.
Yeah, Jigoku Raku spoiler cast. And you'll be
I
fresher on it than me, so it'll be interesting to see. Since I read it,
I have all of the volumes downloaded already.
Oh, okay.
So I can make. I'll be able to make screenshots much more easily.
Nice. Yeah. I've already screenshotted a few things that I like, but I don't do it as much as you do. So I'm looking forward to what you highlight.
What I'm going to highlight? I'm going to highlight all of the boobies.
You'll have a lot to do then. It happens a lot.
Oh wait, we're not supposed to show those on YouTube.
Oh, no, on YouTube we can't. We'll have to have.
Guess I won't show anything then.
I'll send you some transparent PNGs of bras to put there.
I'll just put burgers over there.
Okay, sure. Well, until next week.
Yep. See you then.
Percival Fine and
Maxi Burger. And we're done.
Bye.
Bye.